Now, President Yoweri Museveni has reiterated his call to teachers in government schools to implement a universal education program and stop charging learners. Now, he was officiating at the belated International Day of Education at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, where he said most youth who join the skilling hubs at zonal level are desperate and had missed education due to the charges. We have more in this story.
Ministry of Education and Sports has celebrated belated International Day of Education on the global theme, Artificial Intelligence and Education, Preserving Human Agency in a World of Automation. This year's theme is localized to focus on promoting an employer-led TVET system, which is functional, effective and efficient to meet the needs of the labor market. President Yoweri Museveni says the solution is universal education, although he's disappointed by the implementation of free education having faced resistance by head teachers and Parents Teachers Association.
We are locked out of the education system by that money thing of the government schools. It is a barrier. It's a very big barrier. Must stop. So when they are desperate, when I brought this free skilling at the zonal level, those children who come there, they are like resurrection. Somebody who had given up life, now has got hope. So this is one point that must be clear. There must be no school charges. Once we are ready, we must ensure there are no school charges in the government schools.
The initiative of Presidential Skilling Hubs has helped many out-of-school youth acquire skills for self-employment.
All that they require is more support to take them to the next level of production. If government can ensure that each of these young people gets a toolbox to start a small starter industry, then employing these people would be real.
The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, said the global theme requires reflection on the relationship between artificial intelligence and human capital development.
However, to ask questions, is technology taking over and replacing the human capital? Is human capital development still necessary given what AI can do and is already doing, as we've just heard? Is it possible that AI and human capital can coexist positively given that each has its strengths and its weaknesses?
At least 45 out of 178 local governments are fully covered with TVET institutions, and ministry has finished the coding of 9 presidential pledged institutions.
Spend investment in TVET training, research and innovation. In this era of rapid technology change driven by advances in artificial intelligence, education systems need to be re-engineered to nurture both technical proficiency and the irreplaceable human skills of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and emotional intelligence.
The ambassador of the European Union to Uganda, Jan Sadek, says as they introduced artificial intelligence in education, they must not forget that human connection remains central to learning, while the UN representative recommended continued investment in science and technology.
Remains central to learning. Technology should support teachers, not replace them. The teacher is and must remain the heart of the classroom. And also, technology cannot be a substitute for the basics. The introduction of artificial intelligence into the education and training system must not divert us from critical investments in teachers, trainers, infrastructure, and learning materials.
Promote inclusive and responsible use of such technologies as artificial intelligence to promote quality education services and job creation. Number two, to boost youth employment by adopting an integrated approach that combines training, job matching, financial support, and the participation of young people in design and implementation of programs.
I'm Navka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kololo.
The Democratic Party President, Norbert Mao, picked nomination forms Tuesday, seeking a fourth term as the DP president. Norbert Mao, who has been at the driving seat since 2010, says DP needs to be reunited, and this can only happen with his leadership. Mao has of recent been faced with huge criticism over the cooperation agreement he made with the NRM party, with critics claiming that he sold the party. Mr. Mao has also appointed his recent critic, Mukasa Mbide, as his campaign manager. DP will hold its delegates conference on the 30th of May 2025 in Mbarara City.
The most important thing in DP right now is not the cooperation agreement. Because the cooperation agreement is about DP. We must first of all make sure the party is standing and it is strong and it is together. That way we can deal with anybody. We can contend with anybody, whether it is NRM, whether it is which party. After all, we are here in Uganda. So this press conference is about first things first. We must decide with what is most important, first and foremost. So if a fire catches your house and the house is burning, do you chase the rats that are running from the fire, or you first save your valuables from the house? That is what this press conference is about. So many of the people out there just are saying, please, let's chase the rats. Really? Is that the most important priority for a party like DP? The very party has a lot of problems. We are not even sure who our members are anymore. Some of our leaders have books for NUP, they also have books for DP. They are registrars for DP, they are also registrars for NUP. And that is why the core of the party, some are in this formation or concoction called DA. So it is important that those of us who have had the privilege of guarding this party at the moment of maximum danger, we continue to declare that we welcome the challenge and we welcome the privilege. It is not that we enjoy, because we know that we are stronger together. Now, those who are undermining the solidarity of the party are the enemies of the party. We don't have time for them, because also dealing with them will be like chasing rats when our house is burning. So we have to practice what we are preaching. So why would I be kind to such journalists? Uganda is still a very delicate democracy. If it was like a cemented floor, it is still wet. You cannot start dancing Bakisimba on soft floor. The floor is not yet even hard enough for our hard kind of politics. I want...
The Equal Opportunities Commission, EOC, has urged political parties in Uganda to reconsider the high nomination and campaign fees required of aspirants seeking elective positions. EOC chairperson Safia Narule Juko noted that exorbitant fees prevent marginalized groups like women, youth and persons with disabilities from participating in the electoral process. She was meeting the Secretaries General of political parties and officials from the Electoral Commission at the EOC headquarters in Kampala.
The 2026 general election is drawing near, with political parties releasing their electoral maps. The Equal Opportunities Commission has met political party stakeholders to discuss inclusive participation in Uganda's electoral processes.
Of special interest group. I think it's important.
The chairperson of the commission, Safia Narulejuko, raised concerns on gender and power dynamics within party structures, noting that they often hinder equal access to leadership for women and other specific interest groups.
Cultural stereotypes that view politics as a male domain, along with expectations that women move with their spouses, use sexist language, and prioritize domestic roles, further limit their participation. Moreover, there are no dedicated electoral colleges for youth with disabilities to participate in electing their leaders, further marginalizing them.
She also emphasized the need for political parties to revise their nomination fees.
For example, in the 2021 general elections, the nomination fees for presidential candidates was 20 million, and the parliamentary fees ranged from 3 million to 5 billion shillings, which cannot be afforded by somebody maybe who is starting to join politics.
So you are charging someone 3 million shillings, which is 6 times the amount of money a person earns per month. If a person is earning 600,000 shillings. So that is very, very wrong, absolutely.
A call for increased civic education ahead of the 2026 elections will ensure all eligible citizens get informed.
There used to be voter education, civic education, before elections. But today, the practice has died out. Even when the individual political parties try to conduct civic education on a voluntary basis on behalf of government, they are curtailed.
Remote areas often lack civic education, accessible registration centers, and polling stations. Citizens in such areas are disproportionately affected by infrastructure neglect and limited access.
The Commission also condemned the persistent issue of electoral violence, especially campaigns, which affect vulnerable groups' participation. However, the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tango Doi, agreed on the need to eliminate violence, but also pointed at mutual respect between all political actors.
Issues of violence and intimidation actually is dangerous to all of us because it keeps away our supporters. Whether you are DP, whether you are UPC, whether you are NRM, violence affects all of us equally because you have supporters who are old, who are women, who are disabled, who are fragile. They may fear to come and vote.
We need more of these interactions, and maybe we should actually picture better to the public to reduce violence. The moment you portray yourself to the public as I can handle it all, I can do it all, please protest, stop it.
Representatives from political parties including ANT, the Conservative Party and FDC urge that the engagement is timely.
Avoid the chaos. You must address the constitution provisions of the political governing political parties.
Have parliament that works for everybody. You don't have to be a youth to legislate for the youth. Let everybody that stands out to represent a constituency have equal opportunity with everybody else.
The elections are fundamental right for all Ugandans in creating a fair political environment. Susan Nabugude, Rebecca Nantongo for UBC News.
To matters pertaining to women now, where women have declared war against electoral violence and high monetization of politics if they are to have a level ground with men in elective politics. They put their case during the launch of National Women's Manifesto for 2026-2030, organized by Uganda Women's Network, held at 4 Points by Sheraton here in Kampala. We have more in this story.
There are usually common sins of electoral violence and monetization of politics which women say bar them from fully participating in Uganda's electoral process. Women fear contesting in highly intimidating political atmospheres that pit them against men.
The issue of peace and security We have all been seeing what is happening. We are having a lot of violence, even before we get into elections. There is a lot of intolerance, which is really uncalled for. We are into a multi-party dispensation, and we must respect decisions of everyone. If one of the bills the Uganda Youth People's Congress allows him space.
But you must understand why women are not participating in politics. The first issue is violence. The violence that we see in elections all the time, perpetuated by the same government you represent, Honorable Minister. If the police and military are beating up people, you see how they pick up people, put them on these police trucks. Women cannot participate in such an environment. You are asking 3 million shillings for a person to be nominated to stand for member of parliament. Where are they going to get this money from?
Also to note, the prevailing social constructs still challenge women. During the launch of National Women Manifesto for 2026 to 2030 by Uganda Women's Network, women claim that men deliberately frustrate women who declare interest to contest in open elective positions. They claim that men think, aside women affirmative positions, other positions are a preserve for men. The return rate for women in politics stands at 14%, yet for men is 44%.
I wish to encourage men and women to contest in every position. Indeed, like it was stated, the open space is perceived as a space for men, and that is actually one of my research ethics I did, thesis I did. The open space is almost a no-go zone. It will begin with your parent, with your husband, discouraging you from contesting on the open space. Then it goes to the community, then it goes to the religious institution, then it goes all over. It is like you have invaded the space, because the affirmative action which created one position for a woman seems to give an impression that this is where you belong. And that space is only a lever, not even half a door. A lever in the sense that it is giving only less than 30% in parliament. It is less than 30%.
This launched manifesto contains critical issues women highlight to all political parties and political actors to adopt in the manifestos. Key among these include a deliberate investment in human capital development and women's health.
The major aim of the manifesto is to galvanize women's voices and get them into succinct document. That's why we have the political parties invited here. We are going to go out to disseminate the women's manifesto to candidates who are willing to run. And for us, it's really for the candidates and the political parties to make their own manifestos speak to us.
Crispus Arinitwe, Ubcnews.
Former Lira District Fiscal Planner and businessman Omara Geoffrey and 3 others have been arraigned before the Anti-Corruption Court by the State House Anti-Corruption Unit on allegations of abuse of office and conspiracy to commit felony. They face charges of 11 counts, including fraudulent procurement of certificate of title and uttering a false document CS 328 of the Penal Code Act Cap 128.
It is alleged that on the 12th June 2018, Omara Godfrey at Lira Municipal Council, being employed as a fiscal planner, extracted a forwarding letter to the Secretary Lira District Land Board.
That you, Okello Lawrence, on the 8th December 2020, at the Lands Office in Lira District, knowingly and fraudulently uttered a false document to which a copy of National Identification Card NIN CM 8407 4102 R4 HK in the name of Aliro Mark to Robert Okello, the data entry clerk at Lira MZO, purporting it to have been genuinely issued by the National Identification and Registration Authority.
The accused was not pleaded guilty to the alleged offences.
Have you understood the charge? Is it true?
The defense team, led by Dennis Awonyi, asked for adjournment of the 2 accused persons and were given another date to appear in court and apply for bail. The State Attorney Namta Pista says Ochenya Long Joseph, one of the accused, is a convict in Lira prison and asked for a production warrant and a criminal summon. She further asked for more time to investigate on the matter. Justice Rachel Nachaze adjourned the case to 6 May 2025 and the accused were later remanded. Aisha Musanya and Viola Nansubuga compiled this report.
Now, in remembrance of the lives lost to AIDS, the Uganda AIDS Commission, alongside its partners, is preparing for a heartfelt Candlelight Memorial Day in commemoration of International Candlelight Memorial Day to stand with those that have lost their loved ones to AIDS. The board chairperson, Uganda AIDS Commission, Canon Dr. Ruth Senyonyi, says the event is not just a commemoration but a call to action to continue supporting those living with HIV and their families while fighting the stigma surrounding this epidemic. The day will be commemorated on the 16th of May 2025, starting with a walk from City Square to Uganda AIDS Commission. Take a watch.
Talk about HIV/AIDS and the fight is still on, 4 decades later.
AIDS Candlelight Memorial Day on 16th May 2025. While we know that this is an opportunity to honor those people who have lost their lives due to this epidemic that we have been fighting for over 40 years, it is also a time where we can look back, see what it is in the HIV response that we can celebrate the achievements, but also what lessons we have learned and rededicate ourselves to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
Reduce new HIV infections, increase the proportion of people living with HIV so that they can, not increase their proportion, but the people living with HIV to be able to access services and adhere to care and treatment.
There has been great strides in the reduction of the number of HIV and AIDS related deaths. A report from the Uganda AIDS Commission indicates that there has been increase in the new HIV and AIDS infections, especially among the young people.
I want to also assure you that we've taken stock, and we are sure and we can assure you that we have enough stocks of drugs and health supplies for management of HIV services.
To take that powerful and strategically placed group of media people who are with me here today and urge you to continue covering us in the issues of HIV and AIDS, in the areas of stigma and discrimination, in the areas of sustainability of the HIV response, so that we can achieve our goal of ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. I would like to thank the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for the exemplary leadership in the fight against HIV and AIDS in Uganda.
News Tonight now takes a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery. Phone battery full. Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Mera ngenze mboni passam nazanya ruto ganyiga star 278 then hash kujja kubanga oyingide mu kazannyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu zino wano milioni 10 ebintu nasooka biraba ku TV nange saasoka kikiriza ninga mulaye kino kinzo kubanga kituufu oba yaddala tibya bufere sente zino nazifunye zino nazikoze eki naziwangudde amasanyu nyina mangi ebyoto byange byembadde njagala ngenda bituukiriza.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win. Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulators.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Moving on, Uganda faces worsening swamp pollution and flooding due to poor waste disposal, water hyacinth growth, and urban settlement. Sweden's tracks are experts who are engaging national stakeholders to support the restoration of Uganda's wetlands, has introduced innovative wetland machines that are being introduced in the country.
Uganda's overall household waste generation averages from 0.41 to 0.56 kilograms per person daily, mainly composed of organic material. Hope is rising for Uganda as Sudanese trucks or wetland equipment experts introduce innovative machines to combat water hyacinth and poor waste management.
So we have more than 30 attachments to this system. So we can handle a lot of water challenges basically with this same is not destroyed by using this machine. So with the help of this product you can mechanize the maintenance without destroying the land basically and this sensitive nature.
The biodiversity is coming. Now, these equipment are like waterway equipment to ease access to some places or even excavate to get out the silt, which I'm totally in agreement on the other side of the channel. Floating islands block us on the way to Busi Island. Speaking of real places, and we wait for canoes to come and chop it up bit by bit. And even crossing, we have an old wooden thing for vehicles to cross.
After engaging wetland specialists in Wakiso district, further discussions with the ministry will ensure the adoption of these technologies to restore Uganda's wetlands. I'm Bantu Machapese Mambo, and Ivan Juko for UBC News.
To South Sudan now, where hope had returned to South Sudan after the signing of the revitalized peace agreement in 2018 until the unexpected happened in early 2025. The recently renewed fighting and subsequent placement of first Vice President Riek Machar under house arrest has rendered the country vulnerable and could pave way for the return of unrest. But as regional and international efforts towards peace and harmony in South Sudan take shape, more action towards peace is being emphasized as opposed to what some describe as mere signatures. Henry Okrut has this special report.
Become a democratic state.
So
في يوم بتاع الليلة ده يوم كبير بتاع جنوب السودان.
When South Sudan secured independence from her northern counterpart in 2011, hope and peace were ushered in. Peace did not last. Disagreements among the country's topmost leaders caused tensions. This led to human death, injury, displacement, and economic stagnation.
People don't see that the politics must address the needs of human beings other than the differences, addressing the differences between amongst people.
This is how Uganda has since ended up as a leading host for South Sudanese refugees. In the heart of West Nile sub-region in northern Uganda, Bidi refugee settlements stands as a testament to resilience. It houses over 285,000 South Sudanese refugees who have fled conflict in their homeland since 2013. Fleeing conflict and instability, they have sought safety and a semblance of normalcy.
Nchi yetu sio mzuri, kila saa tunavika kwa nafasi yetu. Ndio tulikuja hapo. Uganda ndio aliomba sisi, ndio sina kaa hapo hivi.
As South Sudan grapples with the renewed tensions, these refugees yearn for peace and the possibility of returning home. They have found solace in cultural expressions, using music, dance and drama to promote messages of peace and unity. This is evident in various settlements, including Rhino Camp in Terego district.
We are also involved in advising on the situation both in the country of origin and as well as the host countries to contribute towards ensuring peace in the countries of origin.
It is a plight that continues to draw the attention of refugee management and humanitarian agencies. The Bujumbura-based International Conference of the Great Lakes region recently oriented its national coordinators on its activities. Of attention was the security and fragile situation in South Sudan.
This worsening situation is critical, and there's need for us to focus on it because it can jeopardize the efforts made in gaining grounds when it comes to the 2018 peace agreement, which was signed by all armed groups.
Because it is only through regional cooperation
that you are able to galvanize at one go, at one sitting, member states' vision to coexist in peace and stability, and once achieved, to also state or define their common development goals.
9th July 2024. South Sudanese in Uganda commemorate their country's 13th Independence Day anniversary. The celebrations are marked by both joy and a deep longing for lasting peace.
Let's be law-abiding visitors, operate within the laws of your host government, so that when another South Sudanese is seen on the road, people will want to welcome them, and they are not seen as troublemakers.
Somebody who comes to articulate divisions and lies, to fragment, to divide the people, those are the enemies of South Sudan. Maybe they are serving foreign interests. In most cases, they serve foreign interests. They want to make sure South Sudan is confused, disorganized, and then your resources are squandered. You have oil there, you have many minerals there. All of those resources are stolen because you are disorganized by those kind of politics. Politics of division. Anybody bringing division between you, please reject.
The country was due to hold elections in 2024. This was, however, postponed for 2 years. Elections in themselves were seen not to be an ultimate solution, except something else.
It's not about just mere elections. We have the mindset of those traumatized people have to be changed. And I don't know how the world will do it, but that's up to the leaders of South Sudan.
Elections by themselves are not enough. It's what comes after the elections. It's the formation of a government that is effective, that is able to run the country, that is able to restore security and give space to development.
South Sudan, in my view, needs a lot of political, ideological, or in a kind of advocacy and indoctrination and changing the mindset of that population in order to attain peace.
Years of war in a nation seemingly divided along ethnic lines is one fact that continues to attract regional and global attention in South Sudan. The situation may still be fragile, but efforts to resolve the conflict have not been abandoned. The recent visit to the neighborhood by Kenya's envoy Raila Odinga and Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni affirms commitment to restoring lasting peace in South Sudan.
I think it is a situation that warrants intervention by international community.
While Uganda continues to provide refuge and support, the ultimate hope for many South Sudanese remains a peaceful return to their homeland. As they go through psychosocial support, their hopes for a future free from conflict remain high. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Techno and MTN. Together, our flash snap is unstoppable. Grab the Techno Camon 40 series and get free 9 GB of MTN data, valid for 3 months. Don't wait. Get your Techno Camon 40 today at Techno stores and MTN outlets. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Hey, okay.
Petero. Kajambo. Mukasa. Where are you going with the family? Oh no. We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register. And I need to make sure my name is on it. And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections together. What about these young men? I can see you. These ones are no longer boys. They are now men. Last election, they were too young to vote. But now, they are ready to vote. Mukasa, you have really inspired me. Now let me also go home and pick my wife so that we can check the details in the register. Okay. See you on the polling station.
The National Voters Register will be displayed at your polling station from 25th April to 15th May 2025. Please do not miss this chance to confirm your polling station and your voter details. Report the dead for removal from the register and those who appear more than once. Every vote matters. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Uganda.
Special announcement from the Baseline Education Census 2025. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Sports, is conducting the Baseline Education Census 2025. This exercise will cover all learning institutions in the country for both government and private establishments, namely pre-primary, primary, secondary, vocational, and higher institutions of learning. The Baseline Education Census exercise data collection is being conducted in a phased manner, starting with Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area, comprising of districts of Kampala, Mukono, and Wakiso. The rollout to all other regions will commence at the beginning of second term. The Baseline Education Census collects information on learners, teachers, and school facilities to facilitate planning and policy decisions in the education sector. Uganda Bureau of Statistics appeals to the general public, heads of schools and institutions, as well as the local government authorities to cooperate with the BEC enumerators. In a special way, UBOS appeals to all parents of the learners to support the exercise by availing learners with their correct date of birth, national identification number, and learner's identification number. For more information, please call 0772 933 628 or 0743 787 189 from Dr. Chris Mukiza, Executive Director.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UCUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information, and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work, and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UCSAF, and we're happy that UCSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What did we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Let's talk some business now. Uganda Revenue Authority has put to an end a Group H cargo clearance process, also known as consolidated clearance, by container leaders to protect traders from being cheated. Speaking in an interview with Uganda Revenue Authority spokesperson Robert Kalumba, the move follows fraudulent individuals known as container leaders who exploit unsuspecting traders, inflate tax charges, and undermine government revenue. Winnie Ainembawazi reports.
Group H cargo or consolidated clearance refers to a malpractice where individuals commonly calling themselves container leaders fraudulently present consolidated cargo belonging to multiple traders as their own and clear it under their personal name or TIN. However, this practice is illegal, exploitative, and punishable by law. Speaking in an interview, URA spokesperson Robert Kalumba revealed that the practice has been banned with immediate effect.
URA has immediately banned groupage cargo clearance. People need to understand that we have not banned cargo consolidation. What do I mean? We have not banned people importing their goods from Turkey, China in containers. We haven't banned that one. What we have banned is when the container reaches here, they have been having what we call container leaders. A leader, the so-called container leader, one leader that clears all the cargo in the container.
But what are the mischiefs involved in these cartel malpractices in which traders lose a lot of money to an individual and the tax body too loses through under-declaration?
This container leader has been assessing taxes for this importer wrongly. He comes and tells you that, you know what, you of 7,000 shoes, URA has said your tax is 24 million. Yet in actual sense, the right assessment is actually approximately 12 million shillings.
URA investigations indicate that through these fraudulent schemes and propaganda, these so-called container leaders have enriched themselves at the expense of small importers and national revenue. Interim reports from tax body show that several offenders have already been arrested, charged in court, and are facing prosecution. But what are the guidelines for compliance to stop the mischiefs?
The guidelines are the following. Transfer each cargo in the correct importer's name and TIN upon arrival. The cargo has reached. Transfer the cargo to Kalumba. Kalumba, inside that container, Kalumba has his 20 shoes. Transfer the cargo to Kalumba's TIN and number, so that Kalumba can also benefit, so that Kalumba can get the right assessment.
However, cargo consolidation in itself is not a criminal offense, neither banned. Traders can still jointly transport goods in one container. However, the fraudulent practice of clearing such cargo under one name or TIN, referred to as groupage cargo clearance, is what has been banned.
Now, there was a groundbreaking women's business training and the GROW project in Machindi, Sabagabo, to spark innovation and unity. From transforming cultural materials into fashion to bridging political divides, local leaders and participants are embracing transparency and collaboration, as we hear in this story.
Today marks vibrant launch of an empowering training initiative for women designed to cultivate entrepreneurial skills under the GROW project.
Twagadde nnyo okutuwa ssente nga tusoose kusomesebwa. Bantu bangi babawa ssente nga tebasomeseddwa ne zibafaako. Naye ffe tezijja tufaako olw'ensonga basoose tusomesa kututeekateeka. Era kati tuli babangufu okutandika n'ejjo lwe twatandise training.
Elegantly fashioned from traditional bark cloth once reserved for burials, the garment is a symbol of cultural reinvention, unveiled by visionary women to ignite innovation. Leaders in Machindi Gabo say the initiative is transparent and inclusive collaboration to cultivate meaningful progress.
Ekisinza okubeerawo abantu abamu projects ezimu tibadde zijja naye nga tumaze kusomesebwa naye kakati bweba nga maze okusomesebwa kubanga kati tugenze nga tusampulinga ng'abantu bano bemulabye abakyala olwaleero bebakyala balinako kibeekolera.
Mbasabye bwetwanga tugenda mu programu eno erimu ekigambo akatundu aka mentorship. Mentorship kitegeeza omuntu okumusomesa tekikwatagana n'okutegeera okwenjawulo mu bwongo bwe, kuba mento kikwatagana na bwongo okukyusa obwongo bw'omuntu mu ndaba y'ebyeki ey'ebintu.
Bantu Machabwe Semambo, UBC News.
Now, in a continent brimming with potential, yet grappling with deep economic and social challenges, one organization is lighting the way for individuals and businesses alike. From job seekers to seasoned professionals, Road International Limited is equipping Africa with essential soft skills. Their training covers employability skills, business skills, and life skills. Sandra Kahunde reports.
In today's world, technical know-how alone is no longer enough. Soft skills have become the silent engines of both personal and professional growth. And in Africa, one organization is making sure no one is left behind. Founded in 2013, rounding up the ages, RALT International Limited is a non-profit initiative dedicated to empowering youth, professionals, institutions, and businesses with the critical soft skills that open doors, spark change, and support sustainable development.
So good examples include communication skills, time management, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, how you lead, how you manage, all those skills that are not technical but are very vital for a company, for a business, for an organization, for a human being to live, to survive, and to be profitable if you are a business. Yeah.
From writing compelling CVs to building businesses and managing relationships, RALT's programs are comprehensive, practical, and tailored for real-world impact.
And we've gone to schools, and you see the light in children's eyes. They don't need to tell you they are absorbing something. You can see it. But for example, at university, the first time we did it at one of the universities, we enrolled a group of 12. We took them through soft skills. We also have soft skills for entrepreneurship. How do you come up with a business idea? How do you move from a business idea to a company? How do you handle customers? We took them through a package of trainings. By graduation, all 12 had jobs.
From rural villages to urban centers, the organization is breaking down barriers to access. Whether through face-to-face workshops, virtual sessions, e-learning platforms, or broadcasts via radio and television, RALT meets learners where they are.
We've written this book. This you can read from anywhere. So, this book is one of its kind on soft skills. The 12 that you need to succeed in work, in business, and in life.
Beyond training, RALT offers career counseling, mental wellness support, and helps clients connect with employers and higher learning institutions through its job bank and academic partnerships. Banked by a skilled international team and guided by a strong commitment to equity, RALT delivers its programs at affordable rates. A special equity fairness support for the most vulnerable, including women, youth, and persons with disabilities.
We'll take yet another short break and return with the latest in sports.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others?
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217*413#. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Welcome back from that break. Let's have a look at sports news. And it's football, and after intense competition in the Women Top Flight Football League, Sozi Edward and Shamira Nalujia are the best players for the month of March. They are at the helm of their team's performances. Nawachibi Doreen Malaika gives us more.
To shine a spotlight on outstanding talent, with Sozi Edward of Uganda Matters and Shamira Nalujia of Kampala Queens being crowned coach and player of the month for March respectively. The monthly awards, organized by FIFA in partnership with Finance Trust Bank, aim to foster greater competitiveness and recognize excellency in women's football.
My backroom staff, they have been doing a tremendous job behind me, organizing these girls, training them, to see that at least they can perform on the pitch.
Both awardees delivered stellar performances throughout the month, standing out in an increasingly intense league season. Their contribution played a significant role in their teams continue to push for top honors.
To work even more in the tournament. And as Kampala Queens, we'd like to appreciate FIFA still and Finance Trust Bank for this innovation. It is a great achievement for the player and the club, and I believe wherever she is, she's going to work more and more to achieve more of this. This pushes them to even work harder.
Meanwhile, match day 19 of Finance Trust Bank FIFA Women's Super League wrapped up an action-packed weekend of football. She Corporate made a strong statement with a 3-0 victory over Wakiso Hill, while Rennes saw off She Maroons with a 2-0 win. Olida High School managed to hold Flying Kampala Queens to a goalless draw, halting their momentum.
A bit confused on where the ball is. Odalo with a touch there. Ball in! A good one there. Maybe one of the best of chances for this Rennes side. Arach is one of those who can.
Kawempe Muslim and Amus College Women Football Club also picked up vital wins, further strengthening their standings on the league table as the season nears its climax. The league continues to deliver excitement, skill, and growing fan engagement, cementing its place as a cornerstone of Uganda men's football development. Nabachibi Doreen Malaika, UBC News.
And that story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Senyamo Yusuf, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'd love to take this opportunity to thank our President, Yoweri Kaguta Turihabura Museveni, by coming up with a Myoga program. We started in 2021 as Kasumi Parish Carpenters in Myoga Circle. When we received this amount of 30 million, we had a problem, we had a challenge of machines. We used to carry our wood and we would carry it up to Waise to be worked on. So when we got this chance, we are able to buy machines to ease our work of carpentry. At the moment, we are a number composed of 140 members. We have the women who come in and do saloon chairs. We have the men doing 3-drawer tables, 2-drawer tables, and different kind of furniture. Before the Myoga program came in, we had a lot of crimes taking place on this road. When this Emyoga program came up, we managed to collect these youths. We gave them hope that you can change from stealing, and we can give you skill so that you be someone in the society that will even help another person.
Kansoke ddala okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga